Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. This has already been done in my channel, but everybody wanted more in-depth information. So I'm going to be sharing with you every steps that are required to get a 491 visa. And from 491, how do you successfully get your permanent residence with 191? And the most important question, can you satisfy the income criteria to earn around 54,000, so 53,900 to be exact, for 3 years to satisfy the condition. So I'm going to be showing you my simple math. So it's going to be completely valuable for the time that you're going to give me. So make sure to stick around till the end to get the complete information and have a successful 491 visa and migrate to Australia very soon. If you're new to this channel and don't know me, I'm Dr. Priya, PhD in biotechnology, academician by profession, moved to Australia as a skilled migrant in 2016, got my permanent residency, filing for my citizenship this year. And this channel is all about educating and making people aware of the different types of visas and process them without getting scammed by spending thousands and lakhs of rupees. So make sure to hit the subscribe and turn the notifications on to be instantly notified of the new videos. Without much delay, let's get on to today's video. So if we look at what is a 491 visa and what it does allow you to do. So basically, it's a skilled work regional visa. Okay, it's a provisional visa, meaning it's a temporary resident. You don't get permanent residency. So it allows you to basically live, work, and study in regional areas for 5 years. So in 489 visa that I came into Australia, many people came into Australia, which does not exist now. It usually used to be certain postcodes that you're limited to. So that is very stressful for you to search for properties in particular postcode and to get a job in that postcode, to find schools for kids in that postcodes. Whereas now 491 has more freedom of movement. That's how I define it, because it allows you to stay or move anywhere in Australia except Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. If you ask me personally, in so many videos, I've told you why I would not prefer moving to Sydney or Melbourne, because it's a personal choice. Okay, so now once you have satisfied all the criterias, you will be able to apply for your permanent residence after 3 years. So the visa is eligible for 5 years. If you fulfill the living conditions and your income criteria for 3 years, then you are eligible to apply for the 191 visa, which is your permanent residence pathway in this 491. Okay, so that's the basic introduction about what this visa is all about. Okay, so what do you need for this 491 visa? So to get a 491 visa, you have to have an invitation. So I have a separate playlist that covers about how to apply for an expression of interest. How do you identify your occupation, whether it's eligible or not? Make sure to check that out if you don't know how to start or where to start. That's a very good path for you to start the immigration process. Okay, so once you submit an expression of interest, if a state or a territory is interested in your occupation, in your profile, if you are qualified enough, then you will receive an invitation. Okay, if not, if you have an eligible family member, eligible relative who lives in those regional areas, they can sponsor you. Now you will have a question. Okay, who is an eligible relative? Can my auntie's son sponsor me? Because in India, everybody is your relative, your neighbor is your relative. Unfortunately, immigration has strict guidelines around who can sponsor who. Okay, so I'm going to answer that in a moment. Now, who is an eligible relative? So if you have a parent, if you have your child or a stepchild, a brother, sister. So Australian system works a lot with the stepchildren or anything with related to step relationships and adoptions, like legal adoptions. If you have documents to prove them, it still works fine. So if you have your brother, your sister, your aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, grandparent. Okay, so this is a crucial step where your sponsorship has to be approved before your visa has to be granted. So if you have all the conditions, but if the departments find something dodgy with the sponsorship, then your visa might not be granted. Okay, so these is just a quick gist of who is eligible to sponsor your 491 visa. And this is an interesting thing to note about 491 visa. The point system has been revised with certain special additions to different extra qualifications or criteria to boost your application. This is definitely, I would see, as a positive note for people who are aiming for 491. I always find the married people go, ooh, when they see the 10 points that they missed out because they're not single. You can't cheat that you're single, but there are other points that you can claim. So let's look at them. So this 15 points either for state government or your relative sponsored, and you get 10 points if you have your spouse with a competent English and an occupation that is assessed in the same state as you. Okay, and if you don't have skill assessment, but if you can get your spouse to write English exam with competent English, then you get 5 points. Okay, if you're single, you get straight 10 points bonus. And there's another 10 points specifically for STEM qualification. So STEM is a very specific qualification. I'm not sure if we have it in India at the moment. It could have changed, but here you have more school-based curriculum based on STEM. So it's a special degree that shows that you have the competence in science, technology, engineering, and maths. Okay, so that's the specific point system that you have for 491 visa, which was not really a thing for the other skilled migration pathways. Now, like I said, we have to understand this concept. So regional areas in 489, for example, my visa was sponsored by NT, but I had to live in Darwin for 3 years or 2 years. And then I realized it's just a moral obligation. I'm not entitled to live there. But still, you are more entitled to stay or inclined to stay in the state where you have been sponsored. Whereas 491, it's very clear that they allow you to move between regional areas. For example, you go to Darwin, you don't like it, you can move to Adelaide or regional Victoria, regional New South Wales, or Perth, or even Gold Coast if you want to. So that is the freedom you get with 491 visa. Okay, that's why you can move. So that's a big win. Okay, so the next one is how to get the subclass 191, which is the permanent residence pathway. So this is effective only from November 2022, because assuming it came in late 2019, so they've assumed even if they get it on dot on November 2019, anyone who fulfills the criteria will be eligible to apply for the 191 from November 2022. Okay, so once you've fulfilled all your criterias for your 491 visa, which is just 2 things. Okay, you have to stay and live, which you have to prove in terms of your living residence, in terms of other documents. I have a separate visa about how I got my permanent residence, like a direct grant. When the timeline was 24 months, I got it in 15 months. Okay, so I've got a whole, it's going to be the same. It's just the different criteria is different. So it's worth checking out that video to check all the documentation that is required to prove your residence and to prove your other additional documents that I power packed my application. It's always good to give more documents to the department and not have any questions in the case officer's mind. Okay, so that is something that's very important. And income criteria, we're going to do the maths how to achieve it, because many people have asked me, it looks like a big number, 54,000 per annum, which is not. I'm going to split it down into simpler terms for you to understand. Okay, so now let us assume, I'm going to do the exact number, so 53,900. Now here we don't go with a monthly salary. The salary is either weeks or fortnight. Okay, fortnight is once in 2 weeks. So most of the offices pay once in 2 weeks. Some offices pay weekly. Okay, so everything you pay your rent, house rent per week. Okay, so everything is week based and every job is hourly based. There's nothing like, one month salary or 1 week salary. How many hours you work, based on your pay rate per hour, you get paid. Now, if you get 53,900, or for you to get 53,900, so there's 52 weeks in a year. So when you divide it, so roughly you should get 1,036.538 per week. Okay, that's roughly. So if you have to make $1,036, assuming you will work full time, okay, so it's 40 hours per week, which is per week. So if you do 40 hours per week, then your per hour salary is 25.91, which is easily achievable in any job. Okay, I'm not saying you'll just get a job, but when you get a job, this 25.91 as a skill migrant, you're not migrating as a student. If it's a student visa, I wouldn't be saying you this is achievable, because students are always not paid the standard base rate, like the national wage of a skill migrant. And mostly they do a lot of casual jobs, cash in hand jobs. So I will not tell you that is achievable. But because you're a skill migrant with a skill set, even though you don't get job in your specific field, if you're a software engineer, there is lot of chance that you might not get a software engineering job straight away. Okay, you might do some job either in an admin or in a call center or in a supermarket or in a petrol station, but you'll still decently make this money. And you've got 5 full years and you have to fulfill the criteria for 3 years. So worst of the case scenario, even if you are jobless 2 years on and off, and if you could produce evidences of pay slips and your tax income summary and everything for 3 years in a row, then definitely you will be qualified. So once you move here, you will know it's not a big deal. It's not a big amount, especially considering the time frame of 5 years. Even if you take 1 year to get accustomed to the culture, to the job market, to the lifestyle here, you will still be able to crack the market and make this decent income even by driving Uber. Trust me, they don't really specify that you have to do it in your assessed occupation. If they say that, none of us will get PR. Okay, so that way they're very flexible. Once you move here, you will know it's very straightforward. Always, I've mentioned in all my videos, if you are loyal, if you are honest, then there's no issues, there's no dramas with your application process. Okay, so let's just be transparent, explain to the department what has gone wrong if something goes wrong, and produce evidences, and we can sort this out. So there are hundreds of ways that we can sort out things legally if you are right, but if you're wrong, I don't know. I don't know the way to do that. Okay, so definitely it's possible. That's my positive note for you guys. So if you have any specific questions, reach out to me on my email, and the most of the same contents and some casual contents. I don't go really off the topic to the immigration in this channel, but I am planning to do more vlogs and casual, let myself a little loose in my Tamil channel. So if you like that content, make sure to hit that channel and give it a browse. And if you like that content, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope I have done justice to the title and I've given you information. And as always, if you have any questions, please post in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer. And I will see you all in the next video.